listening to the ACT podcast. You better like my daddy's show, you queeps.
All right, welcome back to the ACT podcast. I am your host, Anthony Christian Tafoya. I am incredibly nervous. I am joined with my old youth pastor, Brandon Miller. From where's your church? I don't even know your church. I just know it's in Carolina.
We're in Raleigh, North Carolina now.
Oh, nice. Raleigh. I remember that from the Andy Griffith show. They'd go up to Raleigh.
That's right.
Is it like that? Kind of old-timey vibes?
You know what's weird? Like, there are some spots that you can find, and you're like, dude, yeah, you can find Mayberry out here for sure, but our town is just a suburb of Raleigh, so it's a big city now.
That's cool. A little bit of Americana over there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you drive into the town and you drive into Johnston County. It's like, hey, welcome to Johnston County, established in 1730 something, like before, the Declaration of Independence. It's crazy. There's so much history out here.
That's crazy.
There's still Confederate flags. It's weird.
All right. I'm just kidding. It's just a joke, guys.
I told somebody here, I was like, I've never, like, back from where I grew up and where I came from, somebody was flying a Confederate flag, like they were making a statement. And the person was like, oh, they're still making a statement out here too. We're just used to it. And I was like, whoa. So the town down the road, like, it was only like 10 or 20 years ago where they removed the sign that said, hey, welcome to KKK country. So,
oh, wow.
Dude, yeah, it's nuts. It's a whole different.
Is there a black population over there?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, Flagstaff is like KKK country over here because there's no blacks still.
Yes, seriously.
Lots of white people.
Oh, man. So many white hippie people in Flagstaff.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. That's funny you mentioned hippie because that's one of the questions I have for you, right? Because let me introduce you real quick so everybody's caught up and whatnot. But this is Brandon Miller, pastor of a church over there in Raleigh in Carolina. Are you still a diehard Cardinals fan?
Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still like the Rams.
I know, man. I was like, I was always cool with the Rams, and then they had to freaking move to LA. Like,
yeah, I know. I thought about getting off them at that point because we were so bad. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
I was like,
I got
stay with them.
Sean freaking McVay.
I know, isn't he great?
God, he is.
So anyway, when getting back to what I kind of wanted to talk to you about, well, there's a bunch I wanted to talk to you about.
Great,
because I've been on kind of a spiritual journey, Brandon. When I went to church, for the audience who doesn't know, I grew up in church my whole life. I actually knew Brandon's wife when I was like 5 years old, I think, when I met her. I met Brandon way later. And you were the assistant youth pastor when I first started going to that church, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then, then the regular youth pastor left, and then Brandon took over. I think probably for like the last 2 years that I went, right?
Yeah,
probably
I think you were a sophomore or junior when I took over. And
then you went on to bigger and better things. Now you run the entire church, right?
Yeah. The official title is lead pastor.
Oh, nice.
I like that. I only picked that one because I like it better than senior pastor.
Yeah. Lead pastor sounds better.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, like nearly old enough to be a senior pastor yet.
Seriously. Although I've got the beanie covering it up, just so you know. I'm bald, bro.
Oh,
I've lost it all.
Too. Yeah,
I've lost it. I'm going like I'm bicking it, bro.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You look like my dad now.
Yeah, exactly. So,
how would you describe me as a youngster? Tenacious?
You were crazy. You were crazy. I loved you so much. And the thing that I loved you for was the thing that would drive me crazy too. Like you were we had so much fun, but you just would always cross the line. And so that's, that was, that was the amount of times that you pissed me off because you would say something or do something that was so hilarious, but in the setting, like, was not appropriate. My favorite, I don't know if you remember this. We were doing some like hangout and doing a movie night or like something like that, and you talked me into like, let's watch Seinfeld. And I didn't know, much about Seinfeld. and maybe seen a couple episodes. All right. And the episode you chose was the one where George gets a massage from a male masseuse, and he comes out and he goes, "It moved." And I'm like, freaking, hey, bro. Why? Like, you're always pushing the line every time, no matter what it was. And we had so much fun. But yeah, man, that's what I remember the most, man.
How did you see me as like as a spiritual person? Because I mean, I always kind of went to youth group to have fun and talk and hang out and whatever. I enjoyed you people.
For sure.
I don't know if I was actually there for the spiritual thing.
You were definitely a people person. I felt like there were plenty of moments where I'm like, he wants to believe. But I don't know if it was, just life circumstances or whatnot. You were always like in a prove it, or like, I don't want to you were definitely a place where I'm not just going to believe it just because somebody tells me to believe it,
Yeah. That's come in handy as an adult.
Is for sure. Yeah.
Especially when you start working for corporations and stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The one thing I always did appreciate though was like, you weren't fake about it. So you weren't going to fake it and come to church and act like, you're all Jesus, all about Jesus. And then, you were straightforward. You were always going to be straightforward. And I can remember moments, whether it was at a camp or a convention, or even maybe sometimes on a youth night, where it's like, you really felt like you were having a moment, a spiritual moment, an encounter with God type stuff. And we would talk about it. But yeah, you were definitely not going to just be shoved into this. It was going to be your choice, and you were going to be 100% sure.
Yeah. Well, so, what's weird is that, the older I've gotten, the more it's kind of, I guess, kind of encapsulated that I'm still kind of that way. I still wrestle with God,
Yeah.
And that was what always kind of pissed me off about like you and some of the other people. I was like, geez, man, like, how do you just like buy into it? Like, I can't get there, and I would get kind of angry about it. Like, I wish I could just be 100% there, but I just couldn't. And my grandma, I remember one time I was leaving her house. I'd visited her forever, and I was leaving her house, and she said, you know the truth. You know the truth. And I was like, yeah, whatever, old lady. And now I think back on that, and I'm like, man, like, she saw something, right? Yep. I still have tremendous issues with the church and everything else, but I don't know.
I never got the sense that you ever went to a place where like you were atheistic or anything like that. I never got the sense that you didn't believe that there was at least a higher being. Did you? I don't remember. Did you ever get to that kind of spot?
Not with you. Once I left the church,
Okay. Yeah,
absolutely. I got pretty I would declare I was pretty atheistic. And then my first wife would always say, no, you're more agnostic.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, that's all bullshit. I'm like, no.
That's what I would have said too. Like, even, definitely. Like, sure, maybe there's somebody up there, but not what you guys are saying.
Yeah, and then Brandon, I went on like probably through like most of my 20s. I went on like a tirade against the Catholic Church, and I would just bad talk at every chance I got and stuff like that.
One of the I think one of the last like full conversations we had, and I'm pretty sure you were college age at this time, but the only thing I remember you bringing up was you watched Bill Maher's Religulous or whatever that movie was, documentary was and stuff.
Yeah.
And our conversation with that, that's one of the last real conversations I remember having. And I could definitely tell, like, it was, there was, you were ticked, you were pissed off at the church, at the structure, at the religious structure. And so I don't remember necessarily, it must have been after that time, if you're talking about going more into the Catholic Church and stuff, but man, there was some junk coming out in those days, and about that. So
here's the thing that really weirds everybody out. I didn't have much of an issue. I mean, I do, but I didn't have an issue with the church because of their pedophile scandals and stuff like that. To me, that's whatever. So nonchalantly, like, who cares? But no, I really do care about that stuff. But I mean, like, the public school system's dealing with the same thing. Nobody even ever talks about that.
You got sickos everywhere, man.
Yeah. It's like, men are a fallen creature. There's going to be error in everything, and so that was never my issue. My issue was more with the structure of it and the ritualistic stuff with it and stuff like that. What I grew up Protestant. I don't know, and we were a Protestant church. I don't know why I kind of took such aim on that, on the ritualistic stuff.
Interesting. Yeah,
but I did, and then it really is one of those things. This is why, like, when I was raising my kids, I'm sure you raised your kids to just believe in God, kind of how you were raised similarly and stuff like that. Go to church every Sunday kind of thing. Me and my my first wife was or is Catholic. She was confirmed into the church and all that at a young age and baptized. And I was obviously Christian and baptized in the Christian church, but we had both kind of come to the conclusion, like, we're not going to tell our kids there's not a God. We're not going to do anything. We're just gonna, if they want to come, they can come. If they want, if they want to find something more or whatever. And we really did raise them in a pretty, not a religious structure at all. We tried to just live by moral values and things like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's weird about it is that now my youngest son just kind of slowly started just dropping bombs all of a sudden. Like, thank God for this. And I was like, what? whose kid are you? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, we had a Thanksgiving. And,
I remember when your first born was son, your firstborn was, how am I saying that? When your first son was born, you called me one day and talked to me about, like, hey, could you dedicate my kid? I'm like, you want me to, you don't even believe in this stuff. What are you talking about? It's like,
okay,
I remember you asked me, I don't remember. Yeah.
You said, well, I won't, because you got to dedicate him to the church. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe I don't want to do that.
I was like, the dedication for me, Protestant, like, we don't do child baptism, baby baptism, that type of thing. So baptism comes later, when you are at a place where you can profess your faith in Jesus as your Lord and Savior. And so, but we do child dedication, which in that kind of ceremony is more about parents committing to raising their children in God's ways and in His will and that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm going to have you say these things, and I know you're not going to mean it, so it's just funny.
Yeah, I remember I was kind of ticked off about that. I thought, well, he should just do a solid for it. Why is
and that was the difference. I'm like, this isn't a baby like this. We're not doing a baptism. There's nothing I can do to, like, guarantee you this kid's soul, making it to heaven or anything. That was, so it was, yeah.
Well, you know what it was? I remember this now. Thanks for reminding me that. I didn't even remember it. What it was that she wanted to get the baby baptized in the Catholic Church. And at that point I was like, oh, hell no.
And you were like, heck no. Yeah. For sure.
I would rather my baby go to hell than to be baptized.
Yeah.
No, it really was that. It was kind of that ridiculous. It was like, I wasn't, listen, it's always hard for people to criticize themselves. I just wasn't being a serious person about anything at that point. Right.
Sure.
I was just like, I remember my logic was, okay, well, I don't believe all this. But he might. And if there is a God, let me get him off on the right foot, right? Like at least maybe there's something there for him.
Yeah.
Like at that point I was like, oh, I'm already screwed. Whatever.
That's why you were agnostic and you weren't atheist. That's why you were agnostic.
Right. Yeah, because I was like, oh, maybe I will take the chance. It's not gonna cost me
just
anything.
In case.
Yeah.
If you were you're a bad atheist if that's what you were doing, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Well, you know what? What's crazy about it though, Brandon, is like I said, then my youngest son, I think it was last year at Thanksgiving, he was like, I said, what are you thankful for? He said, I'm thankful for God and my family. And I was like, that is where the hell did you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
And I was
but having kids really does it does, because it immediately puts you in a spot where you're like, holy crap, I don't know what I'm doing here. You're like, I'm in charge.
Yeah. Oh. Well, was it you that told me this story? It was either you or the old youth pastor, Mike, but one of you guys told me this story about the family that had kids, and they didn't want any guns introduced to them at all, ever. And they went like 5-6 years with never seeing a gun, never watching movies or TV with guns in it. And one day, one of the little kids just bit his toast to look like a gun, started shooting the mom, like bing, 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 right? Like they just, life will find a way, kind of thing.
Yep.
Shit happens, You
can try to hide them all you want from all the big bad stuff in the world, man.
But it's kind of remind me of that too. It's like maybe God will just kind of find his way into things.
Sure.
I mean, the way the world is now, it's like, are you seeing an uptick in your church with younger people and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, like that Gen Z young adult range, and even recently listening to some of the statistics that we're seeing across America is like how much more devoted Gen Z is to, when they say, hey, I'm going to go to church and I'm a part of this church. They're more committed than the older people right now, because they're like, this has got to be real or else I'm not being involved in it. But if they're going to be involved, they're going to go all in. So
wow,
but
that's cool. Yeah. So I was talking with my fiance about that. I said, when I was in high school and stuff like that, I said the fact that I went to church was kind of weird for a lot of my high school friends. Like, I mean, you guys used to challenge us to try and bring high schoolers in and stuff like that. And we were just kind of a jaded generation, I guess, kind of like blasé about it. Like, whatever. That's kind of,
well, you were brought up in the cool church era. Like the church was trying to get cool and look cool to the world. Like, hey, we're cool here. Come on, check us out. We got smoke machines and we got lights, and our pastor, look, he frosts his tips on his hairdo. Like, we're cool. Exactly. Every pastor in America looked like Guy Fieri for so many years, and it was like, you can't fake that. I think your generation got tired of it feeling that way. You got tired of it being surface level, like not going deep.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
People like it wouldn't. You had like legit questions that people were like, oh no, don't ask. No, we don't talk about that stuff. Jesus loves you, man. It's
just go with that.
Just go with that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Brandon, I hated that shit because I was like, no, I have so many questions. And that's why I think I connected with you and Mike. Honestly, Mike, I think took a lot of time to try and talk to me. Mike, I think
absolutely.
Now when I go back and think about Mike, I think Mike was way more theologically like well prepared, and I was asking
for sure
from high school, and he was giving me way too deep of answers, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, sure.
He was more theologically sound, and then like with you were closer to my age, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick on
a little
Brandon,
more relatable. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick on him with all these questions that I know he probably doesn't know the answer to either, right? And
and I didn't. So just recently, so several years before I got to this church here, I had some time in between the two churches I was serving at, and I went back and did some more seminary classes and stuff. But it was outside of the normal circle that I was usually in, and started getting different perspectives from different. And I was like, wait a minute, like my understanding of these topics has been so shallow, but I've been told, hey, these are the right ones, and I'm like, what the heck? So even me, I've realized going back to those conversations, I'm like, yeah, I was just throwing stuff out there, and all I had was like, dude, Jesus is real. Just do it, Nowadays, so even specifically things like specific topics on like the creation of the earth, and like I'd be one right now that would say I am not the phrase would be young earth creationist. I don't like, I can remember having moments where we bring people in and they'd say, yeah, there's, the world's only 6,000 years old, and it's because of the flood that there's actually fossils, and carbon dating isn't a real thing and this stuff. And now I'm like, not when somebody comes to me and goes, do you really think, the world's this, only 6,000 years old? Or you'd really telling me that we haven't been around for millions of years? And I'm like, we probably have been. That doesn't bother me anymore. Because I've actually listened to people that are a lot smarter than me and recognize like, oh yeah, this is totally different. So those types of things.
How far back? How much did Kirk Cameron set the church back?
Man, it wasn't just him. He was probably the most recognizable one.
Church back 15 years, right? The crocoduck. Remember when he did that?
Oh man. Dude. There's so many things out there I think of, and I'm like,
with Richard Dawkins, the primary, the crocoduck. It was like, no.
Oh man.
Now Richard Dawkins
that was a lot
with certain people. Now he has no answer.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh my!
All the time.
Joe Rogan has, and I'm probably going to mess up his title. He's something like an astrophysicist on his show. And the dude's a complete born again Christian, believes in Jesus, and starts firing things off at him and Joe's like, wait, what? Like it's totally different. It's freaking awesome. I love it. There's a guy that I listen to. His channel on YouTube is called Inspired Philosophy. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to promo other people's channels on your channel, but anyways, everybody watch ACT podcast. But Inspired Philosophy, he talked. It was the first time I heard him on this being interviewed, and he's talking about like this thing called theistic evolution. And I was like, wait, what? What? And I had never heard of that until a few years ago. Started looking into it. I'm like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. And it's not Darwinianism, but it's like, yeah, God could put this, and there's definitely evolution going on in our world. There's no doubt about it. I'm like, so many of those types of answers would have helped your generation you actually, because when you would ask those questions, we'd shut it off and be like, no, 6,000, 10,000 years at most, what it had to be exactly when he said this on this day, blah, 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 blah. And it really, what I realized was it was such a boxed in philosophy and theology of this God that we say is the biggest, amazing thing. But we're telling you like, oh, just box them in. This is it. Don't go outside of this. And then you have things like the Hubble telescope or what's the new one, the James, whatever that new telescope was. And they've like, they're going farther and farther in galaxies than they ever have before. And why would I think, that so in such a small box about this God that I say is undescribable and infinite. Yeah. Infinite. Yeah. So, I look back on so many of the things that I've learned or just heard people talk about. again, my brain's not smart enough to keep all that information. I got to keep referring people back to these others. But I hear them now. I'm like, dude, that would have changed the dynamic of a conversation that I would have had with someone like you.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with Jordan Peterson?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
that guy,
paid attention to where he's at right now, but the last couple of years, man, it's been phenomenal watching his journey.
Yeah. Well, he kind of made religion cool again for the masses. I think.
Right.
Like, no. There's
so true.
Like because I remember he came out and he was like, no, like just because, I might not believe that this literally happened. There's deep, deep psychological truths in this. That's where it started hitting me. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, what is this guy talking about? Let me see what's going on here. And then he talked about it and it's like, oh, wow. Like maybe there's something more to that, right? And I remember when we went to church, like a lot of people read or whatever C.S. Lewis, but it was all like the Narnia shit.
Sure.
Like,
yeah. That was the most popular, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, the kind of Christian apologist kind of stuff. It was the kids' books. Is that how people kind of referred to C.S. Lewis? And then you realize, oh, this guy's got a way bigger catalog. It was a way deeper thinker than people give him credit for. And he was kind of rocking the boat back then whenever he was around.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was weird to me that, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, I was like, geez, like what's going on here? Like, was I so naive when I was younger? Because now you're making me feel better, right? I was an asshole.
Yeah.
But
there were moments,
but I was also like, well, did I just not ask the right questions, or did I not listen to them? And you're saying, no, we had kind of a broken philosophy back then.
Yeah, I think, I mean, in some ways, philosophy. I would say it's a two-way street, of course. You're probably more closed off during that time. But at the same time, like the legitimate questions that you were asking, that if I look back and if I had that knowledge and that ability to answer like I would now, it probably would have at least hit your brain a little different to go, okay, there might be something more to this. I still believe that if God is truly who I believe he is infinite, and there's no way I'm going to ever be able to fully explain, who he is and everything that goes through his godship, or however you say that, and why he lets this happen and why he doesn't step in there and all that kind of stuff. But I have found that because I feel like it used to be like, and a lot of people would say this, the Joe Rogan journey to me is one of the most fascinating ones, because he's one who just a few years ago would just make fun of Christians, that they could believe in this guy named Jesus, and they could believe in a God and a whale, and Jonah and blah, 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 blah. Well, now he's getting freaking smart people around him. Like one of my favorites, Wes Huff, who sits down and just gives them archaeological digs and finds and, clarity to the legitimacy of Old Testament, New Testament writing and all this kind of stuff. Nowadays, I look back and I'm like, oh, you don't have to be. It came across as like, yeah, we're the dumb ones who just live by faith as Christians, and we can't be smart and have faith at the same time. We can't the apologetics side of things, I don't remember being a huge thing back then. There was a couple people that I can remember like, oh, they're the real smart ones. But nowadays, so much more information there to realize like, oh no. And I've even said this, from the pulpit preaching a sermon. I'm like, I'm not asking you, and the word of God is not asking you to have blind faith. There's a lot out there that can be tangible proof for things that have taken place, for things that the Bible says takes place, and then just God being involved in people's lives. And I look back now, like it with our moments, and I'm thinking, man, some of these resources I have now would have been a huge help in just talking with you and letting you process these things out.
Well, I think one of the ways that God kind of works now is the fact that even though I was skeptical when you were talking to me when I was younger and whatnot like that, is that, there's always been this nagging thing in the back of my head, like to keep exploring it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the way that you were with me, I've tried to mimic in my own life at different times and things like that by just not even like with the actual religious stuff, the patience you showed me, or taking somebody under your wing, and like, because there was hundreds of times that we just hung out just to hang out, and it had nothing to do with church or God or anything like that. And just kind of like, here, let me just kind of show you a good way to live or how to be a good person, right? Like things like that. That's how I think God kind of used you in my life in particular. Because now I kind of try. I mean, I'm probably not as good as you, but try and take people under my wings. I say, listen,
hey, it means a lot to hear that those things actually connected with you. Like, I'm glad that time spent with you, because I really did care about you. I really did love you, and so to hear that, those things did make an impact just on you, it means a ton. So I'm really,
man. Listen, I think about church all the time. I mean, I think about those days back then. I want to try and get Mike on. I doubt he'll do it. And honestly, I was kind of surprised when you said yes. I was expecting it to get a hard no, like, no. I listened to it. I heard some stuff he said, and I'm like, oh, geez.
I thought he may push the line like he always did, but I'm like, both of us have matured enough. I think we should be able to handle. But honestly, any time, like I'm so excited when I just have like real conversations with people about all this stuff. And and so, yeah, man, it was really easy to say yes. I mean, I enjoyed just our relationship, and it was, it was great. I enjoyed that you were always straightforward and real with me. I enjoyed how much, like, our humor is, we laugh at a lot of the same things, and so yeah, man, this was easy to say yes. This is awesome. I love hearing that you're, in this journey again and just seeking.
Well, part of the thing too, Brandon, is like, I guess one of the things that's bothering me about the church right now is like, now it's becoming overly accepting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like, we want everybody to come. Now we'll just accept anything, and that's a bothersome thing to me too, because it's like, no, that's not how it should be. When you mentioned hippies, I was gonna say, you don't preach about hippie Jesus, right? Like,
no,
like, peace
no
and
hippie.
love.
Hey, have you paid attention at all? Have you paid attention at all to that new series called The Chosen?
Oh, is it like a TV show?
Yeah, now it's on Amazon Prime. It started as just like a where they just raised money, and so it kind of started small budget. They've gotten a little bit bigger, but man, it's been a great show. Just like giving you here's what it might have looked like with Jesus and his disciples. They do more backstories on some of the disciples, and they fill in creatively, some of the gaps, never going outside of what would be found in the gospel stories and stuff like that. But I love it because it's not like the Jesus who plays it. He's not a hippie Jesus. He's he's a normal guy. So if you ever wondering what to watch or whatnot, check it. I think it's all on Amazon Prime now. But yeah, bro, I think it's human nature. You swing from one extreme to the next all the time, right? So we really recognized for a while there, like, dude, this is ridiculous. We're telling everybody they can't be a part of this club until they get their life, in order. And you got to shape up and you got to clean up before you come to church. And then we're like, that's wrong, because that's not even how Jesus acted while he was here on earth. He hung out with that culture's worst of the worst, and he was there ministering and witnessing to them and all that kind of stuff. And so we tried to swing, and in that we swung too far, and we went, whoa, now they're asking us to just not expect change, and not realizing or get away from the fact that, yes, Jesus accepts us exactly how we are, but he works and he changes us from the inside out, and he doesn't leave us the same. He transforms us into a new creation and all that kind of stuff. And so I really have recognized the church and I'm around pastors all the time. It really seems like there's another, a shift to like, hey, we got to get back to, the core beliefs of the faith, and not, we can't be making it like you can be a part of this and just do whatever you want to do. That's never what Jesus was about. It wasn't about staying, just live your best life and all this kind of live your own truth that's not Christian. That's not.
Yeah, there's almost a way to almost like a promiscuous type of Jesus kind of message, kind of.
It is. It's weird.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, obviously you can't murder anybody, but just kind of do whatever. And I've noticed this with older people, honestly, which is they'll start using God and leaning God heavy the older they get, but they're still tremendous sacks of shit, and they go, well, God will forgive me.
Right. Like, yeah. No. Yeah. It's, I think that's the one thing that isn't, focused on enough, is that, like, if you truly are living as a disciple, what you would call a disciple of Jesus, a follower of Jesus, he's my Lord and Savior now. Like, as you mature in your faith and you get closer and closer to Jesus, you should become more and more like Jesus. It's not like I just have this card I wave when I'm as you said, sack of shit and do stupid stuff and just go like, oh, but I got Jesus, so it's all right that I treated you like
accountability. Never gonna admit that I did something wrong, because God forgives me, and you're being a judgmental person. Yeah, I don't like that. And then the other thing that bothers me too, with that I see with a lot of people, is like, again, it's kind of the hippie Jesus thing, but it's like, well, he just loves me for who I am. It's like, no, it's supposed to be pretty hard. It's supposed to be pretty difficult, I think. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be easy at all. Like, remember when the Hebrews were roaming through the desert?
Jesus himself said, hey, man, he says, hey, to follow me, you've got to deny yourself. You've got to crucify yourself, take up your cross and follow me. And if you do, you're going to endure suffering. You're going to have hardships. We've turned it into an Americanized, I didn't make this phrase up myself, an Americanized gospel that like blends American dream with Jesus. Good. And we're like, hey, come and follow Jesus. Everything will be great in your life. And then people do that, and all the junk of life still happens. And they're like, I thought I wasn't supposed to get cancer. I thought my marriage was supposed to last. I thought my kids were just supposed to, be everything I wanted them to be. I thought I was supposed to get the promotion and have the nice house and new cars and stuff. And it's like, that's not what Jesus promised at all. In fact, the deeper he went on what it was to follow him, the less people that followed him while he was on earth. And so now, that's that, like I say, that cool church that, oh, bro, like, get me on a soapbox. And it's this phrase of like celebrity pastors. Like, what the heck is that? Holy, yeah. Oh, man. So there is I can feel and I can sense, at least in my circles with the local church pastors, guys that you would never recognize, or, they're not walking around with Justin Bieber and all that kind of stuff. These guys are like, we've got to shift back to what did Jesus actually call us to, and what did he say it would be like following him? And then as well, there's the book of Acts that shows us what it really was like to follow Jesus, from the disciples, from the people that were closest to him. And we just did that as a church. We went through the whole book of Acts last year, and it was constantly talking about the torture, the suffering they went through, they, being, thrown out of families, losing all their money, being persecuted, arrested, these types of things. Like that's yeah, we're in a free country now, so we're not in danger of somebody coming in and arresting us for following Jesus. But there are still a lot of people in our world today that have to live that life, right? So it's forced us, I think it's specifically as Americans, to look and go, okay, there's a different message here, and we should probably go back to that.
Now, do you fear, because like I see people like, VeggieTales is huge when we were growing up and stuff like that. Now I see the creator of VeggieTales saying some wild shit.
Oh, man, people are crazy.
I'm like, whoa, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think my parents have shown me this.
Right.
Right now, but I don't know. Do you sense that? Do you fear that Americans themselves are too soft to take on the task? I feel like we're a pretty soft culture now, and it's a soft nation. We don't like to be uncomfortable. And this is going to kill us in more than just a spiritual way. I mean, with AI and all the other stuff going on now, it's like this could damage us in several significant ways. Our idea of living in a comfort zone and being,
well, I tell you what concerned me the most in the recent few years was when the whole COVID thing went, and how quickly and how easily churches, pastors, Christians bowed to what they were told to do. And it wasn't like the church I was a part of, we were like, oh, okay, if you're asking us to, hey, not have in-person services for a little while, see if we can get this thing to calm down, cool. But I mean, we opened the doors as fast as we could, and we were open, like that church was a large church in Phoenix, and man, we grew a ton because so many churches weren't opening their doors out of fear. And we're like, wait a minute, the church is always meant to stand and be strong, no matter what. And watching, yes, and so watching like how quickly people who say I believe in an infinite, all-powerful God, cower to that stuff really concerned me. I do think it's there's always that swing, that pendulum that comes back. I think people are recognizing that softness and going, yeah, we got to be strong. We got to be, there should be a difference in, yeah.
You gotta be hard to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
this is, oh, dude, right. You don't follow Jesus because it's fun and easy and cool and everything goes right for you. Like, and that's for too long we try to like push this message that's what it was. And to be a disciple of Jesus and to live by a certain, whether you want to call it moral code or a certain, another level, set apart, all these types of things, to the way you treat people, and to the way you raise your family, the way you're generous with your money, and you don't just do anything, all that kind of stuff. It's not this is I apologize often when I say I'm sorry if anybody told you like, hey, come live for Jesus, it's going to be just this easy, smooth road, because that's not what it's been. Is it right? Exactly. So I am concerned about it still. It's more because of the Americanized nature of it. Because and and sometimes I wonder, like, I'm not sure if we're loud enough with the message of Jesus. But then I get scared because some churches I feel like have gone too far the other way, and now they've become political, and they will
ideology taking over the church.
Yes, they act like Trump is Jesus. Whatever, these types of things, they yeah. So it's a real. I hope we can find the balance.
Pride demonstrations in the church.
Well, I mean, good grief, man. That's.
Can I tell you? So I know that you're on a hard out. I think I got like 20 more minutes with you, right? Is that what we got?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
20.
So I want to share a quick anecdote about something that happened to me personally at NCA, which was our old church.
Yeah.
Way after you were gone. And then I do have some questions for you that I've always wanted to ask, and I'm gonna work up the nerve to ask you. And then we can end it. But so going into that it's hard and whatnot. Okay, so do you know anything about my personal life since I've left? Have you heard anything or seen anything?
I did hear a couple rumors at one time.
What'd you hear?
You were testing out alternative lifestyles. Is that correct? Something to that effect?
Yeah. Oh my God. I have 2 anecdotes to tell you. Oh my God, Jesus. Oh yeah. Okay. So the worst one, this is the funniest. I mean, I die laughing about this. So I got divorced or whatever. And I was dating somebody who thought they were a woman. And have you heard this? I bet you've heard this.
I mean,
we were walking downtown and holding hands and whatever, and being very public about it. And I walked right in front of your father-in-law.
You did.
Ran right into him. I was like, "Oh my fucking God!" I was like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" He had to have been like, "What the fuck did I just see? Was that Anthony? What in the hell could happen?"
Oh man.
Okay, so that's one anecdote, but okay,
small town, man.
Yeah, gee, oh my Lord, Brandon, my heart sunk. I was like, "Oh man." I was like, mate, I go into everything just 100%.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
I was like, whatever, it's all right. But I was like mortified. But so anyway, during that time when I was trying out alternative lifestyles, this person that I was dating had a lot of issues and whatnot. And so I said, well, and they were college age. I said, maybe you should try and go to church or something, like maybe they'll help you out, and I took him to NCA. They were doing a Chi Alpha thing.
Wow.
And Ryan Reiblin was doing the thing, and awesome guy, great guy, and he knew me since I was a kid, and he came up and he said, "Okay, this is all very weird and strange, and I'm glad though that you came, right?" And I thought he handled this masterfully, and I was not offended. And he said we don't accept this as a normal thing here, but you guys are welcome. And if you want me to work with your partner, and accept him, I can do that. But just know that we're not going to glorify this lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like,
that
100% got it, groovy, cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Love that. Ryan's amazing.
Is that not a masterful way to handle that?
That's so good. It's so good. Yes. I think that's the thing is, you are welcome. Like Jesus would welcome you, but then Jesus would not say, "I affirm your choices and your lifestyle. I love you, the person, but I want to show you what Jesus would say is the better life." Right. That's the life that he has to give. So I think that's phenomenal. I love hearing that story. And Ryan is one of my favorite persons of all time.
I might just be different, right? I might just be like not offended easily by that kind of stuff. But because I was like, Oh yeah, he's absolutely gonna have a problem. I grew up in the church, like I know that this is not accepted. Like, but I also was like, it was almost like for me, it confirmed my feelings towards somebody like Ryan, that he was a genuine good person who actually did believe what he had taught me, right? And so that was like a big eye-opening thing for me.
That's even, I think, some of the things we've started learning, even in the church, even now. Like we used to go, hey, no matter what, you can be a part of what's going on here. And it's like you can to a certain degree. So anybody that walks into our church, no matter what lifestyle they've chosen, will be welcome to come sit in a service, hear the gospel of Jesus presented, experience our worship experience, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to go to the next step and be, be involved and connected and a part of that, we're going to say, hey, there's still some levels here, that say if in that scenario, if you guys came and said we want to be a part of this church, great, you're welcome to come and sit in service every single Sunday and connect with people and build relations, all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't have you be a front door greeter, because that would present a specific message that we affirm what they're doing. And so those are the boundaries and the lines where like, hey, we got to do a better job as the church and as Christians showing both sides. You are absolutely welcome here, but you have to understand that we're going to preach what we believe is the truth of God's word, and it's going to challenge you to change certain things that we would say God's word says is not right in these types of things. So yeah, I love hearing that's how he handled it, and that's really been the journey. I think.
Your answer to that too. That's awesome. Okay. Well, let's not go down that anymore.
Yeah. What questions you got, man? I know we could do this for a long time.
I know we really could. Would you ever be willing to come back on?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, because this is awesome, Brandon, and I think Daniel would have fun talking to you again.
Great.
But okay, so I'm going to ask you the questions that this is for all the church kids out there who are too afraid to ask or want to know, right?
Great.
It has to deal with that big dirty word sex.
Yeah.
Now, are you allowed to be a big gay? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so when I was growing up, it was, and now obviously, I'm a teenager, whatever. I wanted to masturbate and things like that, and it was always like no masturbation.
Yeah.
I never really understood why you weren't allowed to masturbate, other than people would say like, well, it's lustful, right? And sure. now I think, and I want to know if I'm getting this right. Is it more of an issue with self-control and containing your desires?
You know what's funny is, so I think for me, in my experience, for lack of a better term, with dealing with people who are, struggling with that, any of those subjects, I think what's different now, what most people are thinking, because the Bible says nothing about masturbation as right or wrong. It just doesn't. I think what most people would go, Anthony, masturbation is wrong. They're probably thinking that in masturbation, you're having to lust in your mind, whether it's fantasize about somebody that's not your spouse, or you're involving pornography and these types of things. My viewpoint even on that topic is the act itself. The Bible is quiet on whether you can pleasure yourself or take care of business or whatever it is, all that kind of stuff. But it's not quiet with other things that most people would involve with masturbation specifically, right?
So you're saying that if you're fantasizing about your wife, it's okay. Maybe.
Dude, when you go to that, people would say, well, is that okay? I was like, well, is your wife okay with that? Because if it's in the marriage, the agreement, like in the marriage circle between those two people, the man and woman who are married together, like the Bible as well is like, you basically can do whatever you want as long as you're both, it's consensual and you're both into it. And it's providing life. And so,
now you just said something. So, because the Catholics, I've kind of been leaning more into the Catholic thing for whatever reason, but they say it's a mortal sin, period. Doesn't matter. And I'm like, okay, well, why? But you just said something that I think
that comes down to control.
That is wasting seed is considered a sin.
I mean, when you go to that story and it talks about men wasting their seed, they're not talking about masturbation. Okay. They're talking about full out game.
Curious. Because
they're talking about guys who are having sex with women and they would pull out and spill the seed on the floor. They're not it's not. So
yeah, okay. But see, because I was always curious about this too, right? I used to just imagine, you weren't married at the time, but Mike was, and so I go like, his sex life has got to be dreadful, right? Because I was watching porn and stuff like this. I was like, there's no way they're doing this stuff. There's just no way. And so I was like, what is considered okay in a Christian marriage with sex, and then once I got married, I was like, I was told that you can't masturbate, but then, sometimes, some foreplay happens with you and your wife and you're not, bumping uglies, but you're just kind of getting each other warmed up. Like, is that a sin? I don't think it is, but I don't know. I know sodomy is for sure a sin. I know being on the period is a sin, right?
Well,
it's considered a dirty act, right?
All of that's Old Testament law that if you're gonna say that's a sin, then you have to take it all. If you're gonna take one of those law and say that we got to live by that, then you got to take everything, which, there's things about not drinking grape juice. And I mean, there's so much. So most of that had to do with being ceremonially clean. And so it wasn't like you can't make it to heaven and blah, 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 those types of things. There was so much different depth to that nowadays I would just tell you that I don't see that as a sin. Anything between a man and a woman who are married, and again, nobody's forced to do anything, and it is something that brings connection and exhibits love, and it, like, whatever that may be, all the crazy thoughts and ideas, as long as it only involves those two people that are married, man and woman that are married, then really, go for it. As long as you both you both choose it and you feel like it's something that's bringing you closer together, I guess is how I would try to say, put it in that circle.
I might be wrong on this, but I feel like Mike one time insinuated that oral sex between partners was a bad thing too. And I've always wondered that.
I can't remember, but for sure, those are types of things that have been taught in church for a long time. Like anything other than missionary position was off limits type stuff, which is crazy because the Bible itself, dude, Song of Solomon is like talks about oral sex. It does it in a poetic allegory, but you're like, dude, that's what they're talking about there.
I guarantee I wouldn't have kids if I'd only stuck in missionary position. I mean, it's true. But,
I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that you can be creative in your sex life. Like it's fun, man. Us guys, so.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought, okay, well, because it's a gift from God, and if we have an imagination to do it, and the partner is willing to do it, like, how is that a sin? But there is still this debate, and I've always been curious about it. Like, just from my own beginnings, and you're going to be the avatar for my church teaching at that time was like, is that all bad? Because I kind of get the sense from the Catholic Church, anytime you waste seed is considered, immoral and a sin. You should always be kind of trying to have babies, right? Which is almost going into like Jehovah's Witness type of territory, right? Because they won't use birth control. They don't, no pull-out method.
Which is, it's a part to me that I go like, it does say chapter 2 or chapter 1, be fruitful and multiply. But at the same time, like you realize that sexuality was a part of the existence of man and woman, Adam and Eve in creation in Genesis, and that sexuality was before they procreated. Like they were sexually active with each other before. If you're any scholar theologian that is true, is honest about the text, is like, yeah, this was happening before they had their first babies. It was going on in the Garden of Eden before they were kicked out. Like it's very clear that God intended this to be something that brings the man and the wife and the husband together close. It's a blessing. It's a gift. It's awesome. And there's a plus to it. It's how we procreate and we keep the human race going. Yeah. It's awesome. I think a lot of that stuff comes down to control. It's easier to control people than to let them walk in freedom and figure things out for themselves. And so we'll just put all these rules in place that just control this masturbation, spilling, any of these things. Just none of it goes. Don't think about it. When it's like, but that's not, you're adding to scripture there. Yeah. And any of the things that is talked about, what is considered sinful, immoral in God's eyes with our sexuality, is outside of the marriage covenant. Yeah. So that's when but then let's be honest, Anthony, like let's be honest, because there's some crazy freaking stories, especially in the Old Testament. And there's not verses that are like it seems like God is still blessing people who are doing crazy things. David, the king of Israel, known as the man after God's own heart, had hundreds of wives and hundreds of concubines.
All right, Dave.
And we're just like, we act like that's not part of the story. It's like,
didn't he murder somebody to sleep with their wife too?
Yeah. He slept with Bathsheba because he saw her bathing. He's like, dang, she's freaking hot. I want her. Who is she? Wife of Uriah. No matter, once he found out it's the wife of Uriah, it doesn't matter. Like, he's like, bring her to me, sleeps with her. She gets pregnant. And he's like, crap. He calls, Uriah's out fighting battles for King David, but David's back home. He calls Uriah back home, tries to get Uriah to go back to his house and sleep with his wife so he can cover it up, but Uriah won't do it. And so he sends him back and tells the commander, like, hey, send him to the front line so he gets killed. And then he marries Bathsheba.
That's a move, man.
Bro.
That is a move.
But here's the thing that I've learned, like, I love, that's why I love the Bible, man. It's so real. Like, it's so real. And so the understanding of, there are things in scripture that are descriptive. They're just describing the story. They're telling the story. And then there are things in scripture that are prescriptive. It's prescribing how to live. And so if you can separate those two things and recognize those two things, you can look at these stories and be like, dang, they were messed up. And wow, it's amazing. God still used them. Look at the grace of God. Look at his mercy. Look at how patient he is, how loving he is. So, but yeah, man, that whole sex thing is crazy. Like,
that is crazy. That's
that topic has gone, and it's really messed up people in the church.
Well, it really has. Do you think this is going to be my last question, because I know you got to go, but do you think that the devil or whatever people want to say it is, that he has used sex to pervert humanity in a way, or whatever? He kind of uses it against them. And makes it's a huge issue. I mean, the older you get, you kind of realize, oh Jesus, like everything has to do with sex.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think, because that was one of the clear factors that really identified who man and woman were with each other, the fact that from creation, God would proclaim their sexuality and that it was for each other, that they were naked together, felt no shame, that they were one. So the man leaves his father and mother and cleaves to the woman, that's like becoming one flesh, mind, body, soul. So all of it combined. Sexuality is such a major part of a person's identity. And so, yeah, he's attacked that in all ways that he could, whether it's attacked it for people and getting them to do things outside of the covenant of marriage, or making people who are Christians feel like, sex is this scary thing. Like I mean, come on, I know who your youth pastor was when you were growing up, and probably the the direction most of us took was just fear mongering towards like, hey, don't do it, it's scary. Like, if your kid's a girl, you're not going to be able to keep it in your pants. These types of things. Like, it was, we were
Mike
just,
pissed me off.
and so it came across as just like scary, bad. And then you get married and we're like, oh yeah, by the way, now you can have sex, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, Mike made me mad. I mean, he's telling me I can't masturbate, I can't do all that. He's like, but I had sex in a barn one time before marriage, and I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, what? Oh, so I'm just supposed to just take your word for it, bro? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I was like, this is bullshit.
Man. It's
I'm
crazy.
15, man. I can't keep my hands off myself.
Oh man, I do believe in the guidelines of God's parameters of what He created our sexuality in the a sexual relationship, what He created it for in marriage. But we are sexual beings, and things like hormones and stuff we're in a different culture now too. I mean, most back in antiquity, guys were a lot of times married, much earlier. Women were, and all that kind of stuff. So and not that the rules change, but there's always been more give and take in that than what. Like I said, I think most of it was just like, we got to control these young teenage boys. They're just never going to stop touching themselves unless we tell them they're going to hell if they keep doing it. So, yeah.
That did not work. It just made me mad.
No. It doesn't work for anybody. They just hide it and act like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Know. I've never known. Anyway. Yeah.
All right, Brandon. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been awesome reconnecting with you and talking to you, man.
Yep.
I love you, bro.
Let's do it again.
It's been amazing. We
really
do need to do it again, man. And I might. There's a little tease for the audience. I might be moving closer to where you're at soon. So maybe at some point we can.
Dude.
I can't announce it yet though on the podcast because nobody knows. But
all right, well,
like
if you're within driving distance, man.
Yeah.
If you're within driving distance, you better.
Oh, for sure.
We better see each other.
I don't know if I ever want to look at your father-in-law in the eye again, though. That wasn't me. But anyway, Brandon, I appreciate it. God bless you and your family, man. I really do appreciate you coming on. It's been a blast.
Absolutely, man. It's so much fun. Let's do it again.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
All right. Yeah, man.